What's up, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to the channel. NFL Cowboys news now. This video is one you won't want to miss, especially if you've been following all the offseason moves and wondering where does this team go from here. The Dallas Cowboys, once again, are at a crossroads heading into the 2025 season. They've made some headlines with big moves, but are they doing enough to actually improve? Or are they stuck in the same cycle that's kept them just short of greatness for years now? Let's break it down. Last week, the Cowboys made some significant roster moves. They signed defensive lineman Osa Odigizwa to a new contract, restructured Dak Prescott's deal to free up some cap space, and even gave CeeDee Lamb a more lucrative deal. These are all big moves, right? But here's the thing, they freed up a whopping $56.6 million in cap space, which is a lot of money to play with. The question is, what are they going to do with it? You know what they say, money talks. And with that kind of cap flexibility, the Cowboys have the chance to make a splash in free agency or even trade for a big-name player. But will they? Or will they stick to their old ways and let some of these roster problems linger? So Jerry Jones, in his usual unpredictable fashion, has already weighed in on this. And trust me, his comments aren't exactly what most Cowboys fans were hoping for. Wait, what? Seriously, Jerry? We're talking about the same Jerry Jones who has said before that he's willing to be aggressive when needed. So, when it comes to this team, why isn't he willing to make some bold moves in free agency? Has the last 5 years of disappointment not taught him anything about the importance of addressing glaring roster weaknesses? Let's dive into this. I get it, Jerry has a philosophy. He trusts his team, he trusts his internal guys, and maybe he wants to build through the draft. But there's something about this roster right now that screams unfinished business. We've seen this group for too long. The flashes of brilliance, the high hopes, the almost, but every year, they fall short, usually because of the same few issues. And one of the biggest issues that stands out right now is the linebacker position. And I'm not sugarcoating it, this is a huge problem. If you've watched the Cowboys play over the last few seasons, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The linebacker unit has been a liability. I'm not saying the players aren't talented, but when you're relying on the same group of linebackers to carry your defense, you're asking for trouble. The Cowboys have the worst linebacker group in the entire league, and that's not hyperbole, just look at the numbers. The team has struggled to stop the run, cover tight ends, and defend short to medium routes over the middle. That's critical when you're trying to make a Super Bowl run. Now, let's talk about the one shining light in the linebacker room, Eric Kendricks. He played on a one-year deal last season, and while he was far from perfect, he brought some much-needed experience and leadership. But let's be honest, he's not the long-term answer here. Kendricks is nearing the end of his career, and he may not even be back next season. So where does that leave the Cowboys in 2025? It leaves them with a hole that's wide open and a big question mark in terms of how to fill it. Then, we had DeMarvion Overshown, the rookie linebacker out of Texas who was supposed to be the future of the position. The Cowboys had high hopes for him, and so did we. His athleticism, his ability to cover, and his playmaking potential fit perfectly into Dan Quinn's defensive scheme. But then, disaster struck in December. Overshown tore his ACL, MCL, and PCL, a devastating injury that's going to take months, maybe even years, to recover from. This was a blow to the Cowboys' defensive plans, and let's face it, his chances of making a meaningful impact in 2025 are slim to none. So where does that leave the Cowboys? As of today, they are barely scraping by with what's left at linebacker. Yes, you've got guys like Maris Lufau, who looked solid as a rookie out of Notre Dame. He showed some promise at the end of last season, but let's not kid ourselves, this is still a huge gamble. Are you really comfortable going into 2025 relying on a second-year player to hold down the linebacker position? Especially when he'll be tasked with wearing the green dot, the helmet communicator for the defense? You see, the linebacker position is one of those positions that requires experience, leadership, and consistency. It's not an easy job, and the green dot only adds more pressure. Asking a second-year guy to take over such a critical role in a brand new defensive system is a massive leap. And let's be real, it could be a mistake. So, here's my question: why not go after a veteran linebacker who could come in and take charge? You don't have to go for a huge name, but there are experienced linebackers out there who could step in and make an immediate impact. The Cowboys have the cap space. The time to act is now. Some of the names that come to mind are Bobby Wagner, who is still playing at a high level, or maybe Levante David, the veteran linebacker from Tampa Bay. These guys bring the experience, the leadership, and the ability to be productive from day one. Now, I know Jerry Jones has said he's not relying on free agency, but let's be honest, sometimes you have to look outside your building to find the pieces you need to win. And I get it, Jerry is loyal to his players, and maybe he has faith in the draft or internal development. But if you truly want to compete at the highest level, you need to be aggressive in addressing your weaknesses. And linebacker? That's a glaring weakness. The Cowboys can't afford to ignore it again. So what are the Cowboys going to do? Will Jerry pull the trigger on a veteran signing, or will they try to gamble on another draft pick? And what about a trade? There's always the option to trade for a proven linebacker, and with the cap space they've cleared, the Cowboys could make a splash without breaking the bank. The truth is, the Cowboys have all the talent on offense. Dak Prescott is a proven QB, CeeDee Lamb is an elite wide receiver, and the offensive line is still one of the better ones in the league. But the defense, specifically the linebacker group, is holding them back. And as we've seen in past seasons, a weak linebacker core can be the difference between making the playoffs or falling short. The clock is ticking, Cowboys Nation. The window is closing, and the team needs to make some big moves if they want to finally take that next step. Are they going to address the linebacker issue, or are we in for another season of what could have been? Only time will tell. So, what do you think, Cowboys fans? Are you confident that Jerry and the front office will fix the linebacker problem? Or do you think the team will struggle with the same issues in 2025? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's talk about it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update on America's team. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.